Second Avenue and give you guys a perspective of what's happening now and where the crowd is going.
Oh, you know what? Maybe we're going to the plaza over there.
The plaza,
yeah, it looks like they're going
maybe down this direction, and we're just going to kind of stay back. Here we have a few people with their milk cartons ready. We are still on live on air team, so we have a few people here with their milk cartons, and we've seen that at various times. Just because of the tear gas, a lot of people spraying that in their faces to help ease kind of that burn from the pepper spray that's going in their eyes and throats. And we can still smell that in the air as we get those wafts of wind coming through. We certainly have been impacted by it as well. And now here you see this crowd appearing to be walking peacefully down Second Avenue. So we're going to just kind of stay back and see where they're headed, what they're doing. That's the city administration building here. There's a man with a speaker right there on top of a trash bin, kind of it sounds like speaking to the crowd and guiding them in the direction they want to go. And there's the city building right there, so can't tell if they're just stopping right in front of this building or where they may be headed. But they have moved away from that intersection of 2nd and Broadway. Police were telling them move eastbound, and now they are moving away from that location where we saw the pepper spray being fired. So it's still this massive group of hundreds of people, and you know, seeing all of these people move in waves together. We're hearing various views from people, various statements that they do want to get out, and you know, all of this just unfolding before our eyes throughout the streets of downtown San Diego and various intersections, various spots, as it all continues to just unfold with various levels of emotions. Here we have a MTS coming through this area where you see all these people in front of the city building here. We have the trolley coming through right now, and then people are moving, it looks like, towards the water. So they may, it's hard to tell where they're headed at this point, but kind of watching this all happen here right in front of us, and we're just staying back to make sure we are safe. I do not see officers on this stretch of road. So that's what's happening here right now, and we will continue to remain out here and let you know what we see. We'll send it back to you now.
All right, Netta, thank you so much. As you can see, we have several crews on the ground. We're giving you a 360-degree view of the protest, which seems to be moving to another location in downtown.
Yeah, our Kenny McGregor is on the ground. We believe he is at the front of where that group is, moving along the train tracks, the trolley tracks, rather, downtown. Kenny, where are you, and where do you think you guys are going?
So we're going westbound on C Street right now. We are approaching front, and I still have my gas mask on, as you can see. Let me give you the crowd now. We got doused pretty well with pepper ball and the big canisters of mace, but again, we're still traveling westbound on C Street. We're approaching front, coming up on the Hall of Justice, the backside of the Hall of Justice, and where the old jail was, so if you know where that is. Again, there's no officers following in line with us. Again, we are continuing west. Let me turn around here and kind of give you a reverse look here of what's going on. But it looks like everybody who was there on Broadway is now coming this way. And I honestly don't know where we're going. I'm sure they're giving some information from probably social media where to go. But every intersection we come up to, like this one at C and Front Street, there are officers blocking it. And they're just kind of holding the peace so they can't go there. So they're corralling them into this, again, this one street, C Street. At the moment, very peaceful. But earlier, probably about 15-20 minutes ago, Netta can confirm this, the water bottles started flying, the tear gas canisters started coming out, pepper balls everywhere. We got grazed a couple times, just happening to be there, but working with some really cool security guards here with us. They're kind of watching our back. But again, we're still traveling westbound on C Street, going under, which is the old overpass. I believe it's an old bridge, if I'm not mistaken, from the old courthouse. Still making our way down west, coming up to what appears to be Excuse me 1 second here. Hopefully you can hear me a little better now. Yeah, hopefully you can hear me better now. We're coming up to the Arnell Avenue trolley stop, which is right at the courthouse. It's called the Courthouse Station trolley stop. Again, there are officers down here, down this corridor area here, but we are paralleling Broadway. Again, this is C Street at the courthouse trolley station. This is the courthouse itself here, the brand new courthouse and the overpass bridge, and we're passing right under that right now. Still going westbound. I'm assuming we're going to make it all the way probably to Harbor. That would be my next guess, because the federal
And
building
Kenny,
is on the complete opposite.
Kenny, that might make sense. You mentioned social media and what's going on. Remember, there was a vigil plan for
Yes.
the waterfront park tonight at 6:30. It's 6:20, and people are moving along C Street in a west direction. So perhaps that's where these crowds are moving to at this moment for the vigil for George Floyd.
Got it. Where are you guys going?
I have no idea.
Yeah, you're just following the crowd.
Wherever tear gas is, that's where we are.
She says wherever tear gas is, that's where she's going. Well, if that's not a direction, I don't know what is. But we are still good, continuing to going westbound. Now passing, I believe this is C and State Street, along the trolley tracks down the center road. And there are fire people obviously honking in support. You guys know where you're going?
No.
Yeah, just following the crowd?
Yeah.
Okay. Still on the move. I think, again, there's leaders in the front here who've been told, again, had some sort of direction of where they're supposed to be going. But I would agree, we're heading definitely towards the waterfront right now. Do you guys know where you're going to end up at? No, not yet. Just following. Are they social media instructions? Don't know?
Nope.
Okay.
Following the people.
All right. And there you go. The crowd's following the crowd at the moment. But there's still a long trail of people, probably at least another 1,000 behind these that are going. But again, at the moment, we're still traveling west. Let's send it back to you, Carlo.
All right, Kenny McGregor live along C Street, headed to the water, it looks like at this point. We're not, he spoke to a couple of people. You heard it. People are just kind of following the crowd at this point, but we do know that there's a gathering scheduled, vigil at the county administration building on the waterfront at 6:30.
Yeah, we want to send it now to News 8's Brandon Lewis, who is downtown as well at Front and C Street, where he's seeing more protesters cross his path. Brandon?
Yeah, this is almost the tail end of where Kenny was talking to you just a few minutes ago. There is a line of police here blocking the protesters from going down Front Street should they want to. Of course, there are some who are going right up in their faces with signs like this woman here. She's got a sign that says Black Lives Matter. She's been pretty vocal toward the police. They have not engaged with her. They're just standing there as she makes her voice heard. She hasn't hit them and nothing violent at this point. And to give you some perspective, this is the trolley tracks over on C Street. San Diego City Hall is straight ahead by where that trolley is. Trolley service is still running through this area, and these protesters here following along the tracks further west down by where Kenny was. Similar notions to what Kenny mentioned. Nobody seems to really know where they're going. They're just simply on the move, and it is, as one person told us, away from the tear gas. So that was incentive enough for them to move on along here. What we noticed, though, about an hour and a half ago maybe, we noticed the Harbor Police Department that were assisting down here. They all left at once, and Harbor Police are responsible for the Embarcadero area. County jurisdiction is the waterfront plaza itself there. So a lot of different agencies requiring some coordination here as the protesters are on the move. But it looked to be that Harbor Police, obviously knowing that this protest was going to happen at about 6:30 down by their area, decided to move things off a little bit. And it looks like this guy got through and is going to try. He's a board up crew, so it looks like they're going to go through and board up some windows perhaps now that the protesters have since moved on. So it looks to be that the street is just about clear pretty well. And then I'll give you a shot down the trolley tracks where the folks are walking, and it's just all the way down to Santa Fe Depot, a long line of folks just walking down by the courthouse all the way toward the Embarcadero as this protest is now on the move. And it'll be interesting to see if the dynamic or the tactics change at all once we get into a different jurisdiction with San Diego Sheriff's Department and the Harbor Police. Of course, San Diego, they have a mutual aid pact here, so they would get involved as well, and they'll have to reshuffle around officers as needed. So I just actually noticed some of the officers here putting away their sticks and seem to be a little bit more at ease here. So definitely a slight shift in the dynamic as the protest starts to make its way a little bit further west, and we're going to start heading down that way as well toward the back end of them and give you another update once we get a little bit closer. But for now, we'll go ahead and send things back to you guys in the studio.
Brandon, thank you. Thousands of protesters downtown are making their way west now.
And, you know, we heard different people saying we're just following, but I mentioned we know that there is a vigil, and I just looked up, I saw a tweet with video from our Kelly Hess also, not making things up. There's a large crowd gathering right now at the county administration building on the waterfront at Waterfront Park. It showed that that's where they were ending up. So some were leading, others were following, but that seems to be where they're ending up. And again, it's a vigil down there. The tone seems to have shifted. The people that were walking were very peaceful, calm, deliberate, and moving together. We saw some tear gas, but in downtown, it got tense. We saw tear gas, but it didn't escalate.
It didn't escalate to a point that we saw yesterday
Right.
at this time in La Mesa. And hopefully the vigil remains peaceful as well. Hopefully there's a somber vibe. We're anticipating them to remember the life of George Floyd, who tragically lost his life in Minneapolis at the hands of a police officer. So we'll see how that develops. Our News 8's Kelly Hessedall, she is at the Waterfront Park where this protest is heading now, and she'll bring us the latest updates coming up in just a few minutes here.
Yeah, and that message, the protest, is one that's actually supported by Mayor Kevin Faulconer. He told us, and he says by all the police, that what happened to George Floyd was wrong. It's a tragedy, and they support that message. They don't support wanton violence and destruction, and they want to protect lives and make sure everyone stays safe tonight.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of vandalism downtown with at least one broken window, some graffiti.
Spray painting, right?
Right, exactly. So, again, it didn't escalate to the point that we saw in La Mesa, and we hope it doesn't. And since they're moving out of the heavily compacted business area of downtown, it's a good sign.
We're going to take a quick break. See you in a minute.
I got a creak in my neck, limp in my step, cramping in my muscles every time I try to flex. But if you throw me out off the wheel some more.
This ain't no compromise. This ain't no second best. We've put love to the test, and we've won. This is what we live for.
That just shows you kind of the spirit of the folks in San Diego stepping up.
If you need assistance or you want to help, get the News 8 Help Guide. Text HELP to 858-571-8888.
With the virus comes a lot of questions.
I was wondering about masks.
Any suggestions for small business owners?
Is it okay to have workers come into the house and do?
Is there a safe way to handle money?
Do we have a local estimated time for reopening business?
What about eye protection?
Can a pet carry the coronavirus?
Everyone get a stimulus check?
What else will disinfect the virus?
There's a plan for county-wide coronavirus testing.
Your questions answered. Weeknights on News 8 at 5.
Goodwill San Diego is asking the community to save their donations until we reopen. Our stores will be in great need at that time. Donations are being left at closed sites, causing a pileup, looting, and a safety concern. Goodwill is incredibly grateful for 90 years of making good happen.
San Diegans are helping one another in times of need. Seniors, if you need assistance with meals or grocery delivery and other services, get the News 8 Senior Resource Guide. Text the word senior to 858-571-8888. We're in this together.
This is News 8 at 6:30.
This is radical for a black woman to be speaking out about her own rights. Is this too radical for you? I peacefully protest. Stop me.
Protesters and our news crews once again met with tear gas in San Diego, this time downtown. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Alicia Summers.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. We continue our breaking news coverage of the protests unfolding across San Diego County, many of them in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. Today we saw crowds gather in Barrio Logan, downtown, and most recently Poway. Earlier, San Diego police declared the gathering downtown unlawful and deployed tear gas, briefly scattering the crowd.
News 8's Brandon Lewis has been out there all afternoon. He joins us now live with the very latest. Brandon?
Yeah, Carlo and Alicia, we are shifting positions here. We're passing through one of the trolley stations. Just the trolley service, by the way, is still running here. We've seen having to honk their horns a lot as they pass through. So up ahead, as soon as we get out of the shade here, you'll notice there are a significant contingent of San Diego Police Department personnel. We've sort of broken away from the protesters. We split the difference with them because I think they got a little confused on where they were heading. So we sort of saw folks heading in different directions here. So I don't know if you can see it now, but there's a large line of San Diego police officers stretching from Kettner Boulevard all the way further toward the waterfront and beyond. So large contingent. They seem to be shifting positions here with the protesters. Many of these folks were over at the main Hall of Justice where they had that long line, and then the protesters then left and have since moved on toward the county admin building. We can hear the helicopters overhead. There's still like a slight smell in the air as we start to walk with the police moving over here. Now, one thing that's interesting to me as we were walking over here, we saw some of the police officers. There were some protesters sitting down. A sergeant rolled down his window and just given a wave to them, just said hello, which was interesting. We've also seen some of the businesses starting to board up their windows here. We saw a crew pass by here, and then there was also security personnel that were moving in to protect some of the businesses. One of them had on a bulletproof vest, a bullet-resistant vest.
Are we doing this scripted part or no?
So what was that, Carla? So anyway, this is the long line of San Diego police. They are shifting resources. Harbor Police, I'll give you an idea of just how far back all these police officers go. It is very far back, very far back. We see all lights and sirens as far as the eyes can see, and now the train tracks are coming by, so we're halted, and so too are the police officers as they get ready to adjust positions here. One of these police officers looks like he's a little further ahead. So once these barricades lift, we'll start to make our way through, but service is still working, so if you didn't have trolley service, that is still an option here. And then, of course, these are the lots of police officers, big response prompted down here. And we heard on the radio that they were running about 3 to 4 officers per vehicle. So imagine just how big of a law enforcement presence we're talking about here. We see 3 to 4 folks, 3 to 4 police officers in each vehicle as far as the eye can see. So really large police presence. If you don't have to be downtown, police would prefer that you, of course, don't come downtown. Carlo?
Thanks, Brandon. That is the scene downtown going to the waterfront. Again, there is a vigil scheduled for about 6:30, but those protests are all over the county, including in Poway, where we're about an hour and a half away from a curfew at 8 o'clock. Abby Alford is out there live. She's been on Community in Poway, where this protest has been going for a couple of hours now. Abby?
Carlo, yes, we have a group of probably about 50 people. The crowd keeps dwindling down a little bit, but they've been out here since before 5 o'clock. As you can see, they have many of their signs. They're chanting no justice, no peace, no racist police, Black Lives Matter, justice for George Floyd. And Poway has also agreed with many of the unincorporated areas of San Diego County and other counties as well. They now join the 8 p.m. curfew. They did release a statement on, they tweeted it, the city of Poway did. It says that we recognize and support every individual's First Amendment right to free speech, but to protect our city and deter unlawful activity, we are enacting an emergency curfew this evening, May 31st at 8 o'clock. So as you said, there was about an hour and a half until this curfew goes into effect. We did see San Diego County sheriffs out on standby a few blocks away. I do not see them anymore. But again, I know that many of them as well as are on standby. We've also had reports that there's the Walmart and also Sprouts. They have boarded up their windows, try to get ahead of this in case there is any type of looting, as we unfortunately saw in La Mesa last night. We have many cities that have joined this 8 p.m. curfew. But again, this is a very peaceful protest. We have not seen any violence at all, nothing unruly here. They continue to cross the street on the crosswalk. We don't see any protesters out in the street. They've remained here on the corners, walking to each 4 corner, chanting. And many of the people that have been here driving by, they're honking as well in support. Now we had seen 2 people that have driven by, one person, excuse me, is driven by with a Trump flag, with a horn, just yelling out 4 more years, but there was no type of confrontation at all. There was also a man here that had a t-shirt on that was anti-Antifa on the outside, I think just showing off his shirt. But no one was confronted, no one's been aggressive, a very peaceful protest here as we kind of stand back and follow them along, just trying to get their voices heard and what they believe is unequal, fighting for equal rights, fighting for Black Lives Matter as well. So we will continue to stay out here again, but we do want to let you all know that this is a very peaceful protest. Carlo and Alicia.
All right, so we're seeing that Poway's protest has remained peaceful, a much smaller protest than what we've seen downtown, and now the downtown protest has been moving west towards the water, where a vigil is slated to happen right now, in fact. Yeah,
it's supposed to be starting at 6:30. Our Kelly Hessedal got there and stage ahead of time. And Kelly, you've actually seen the crowd grow, people coming in from downtown over the last half hour or so, right?
Yeah, it was right around 6:15 that we saw people start to gather. And I mean, it happened quickly. Suddenly there was no one here and suddenly everybody showed up. Now, this crowd here did come from downtown. A lot of them very young people. They just finished marching around the county building and they're ending right here in front of the steps of the county building. So you can see all of these people out here right now, many of them with signs. They're kneeling down. They've been chanting Black Lives Matter. They're fighting against police brutality. I talked to the organizer of this protest and she tells me, you know, just like a lot of other young people, they're frustrated. She says she feels like a lot of adults aren't listening, and she was hoping to have a good turnout today. She was hoping to see a crowd like this. She wants this protest to remain very, very peaceful. So as you look around here, you can see all of these faces here in the crowd. A lot of young people, but people of all ages, kneeling down right at this point. They are going to have some candles they're going to light later. They're going to pay their respects to George Floyd and the others who've lost their lives at the hands of police while in police custody. And again, they're just hoping things stay calm. They're hoping things stay peaceful. They are planning to have some speakers take the podium here in a little while. But as I mentioned, I did talk to that organizer a little while ago, and I asked her about some of these protests that have been getting out of hand, and here's what she told me.
It's exploding. I mean, it's been exploding. It's long overdue. I mean, if you're upset about a building, oh, let me let you in on the 400 years of oppression that Black Americans have been suffering. If that doesn't outrage you and a building does, then I think that you need to check your morals.
And that is the organizer of this protest. She's an 18-year-old senior from Point Loma High School. You can see this moment of silence that they're having here right now, paying their respects to George Floyd, honoring him. And again, they're hoping this stays peaceful tonight. I do know that there are sheriff's deputies out here as well as several police officers as well. We noticed quite a few motorcycle police officers as the crowd made their way around the block. We saw several sheriff's deputies show up around 6 o'clock in anticipation of all this. But this is a live look at the waterfront park, the county building downtown. And what you're seeing right now is this huge crowd gathering for a vigil tonight. Carlo and Alicia.
All right, Kelly, the protest downtown San Diego has moved to the county building where we see thousands, literally thousands of people, many of them taking a knee right now, and that's representative in kneeling in solidarity with Black Lives Matter and George Floyd and other Black lives that have been lost.
Peaceful protests right now, but again, there are orders around the county for curfew. One just got added. El Cajon police have sent out a tweet that there's a curfew in the city of El Cajon from 7 o'clock tonight through 6 a.m. tomorrow. There's also a county order that starts at 8 o'clock for unincorporated areas, and various cities have as well. So a lot going on right now. We're going to take a quick break and be right back.
I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis, and steadily things were getting worse to the point that my knees really started to ache really bad.
A lot of pain in my feet, a lot of pain in my spine. When I got these arch supports, it was just that aha moment, like, hey, I don't hurt like I used to hurt before.
Walk in 2 or 3 days after the fact, it was like a whole new man.
They changed my life.
Find what you've been missing at the Good.
My day starts early. From 6 a.m. till 10, I'm doing deliveries. From 12 till 2, doing homework, and then after that, I'll be working again. I need this kind of independent work and control over my schedule so I can pay my bills, pay my tuition, and stay focused in school. I'm delivering food and groceries, but it's so much more than that. Right now, people need a hand. Some politicians are putting all that at risk. And it wouldn't just hurt me, it would hurt the people we serve. Politicians just don't get it. We need to protect this critical work.
Summer has come to Toyota Carlsbad. Our service and sales departments are open to serve you. And right now, get 0% financing on new Camrys, RAV4s, and all Tacomas. Plus, your first monthly payment can be deferred for 90 days. Enjoy summer today with 0% financing on new Tacoma, RAV4, or new Camry. You can buy from home, and we'll deliver it for free. Relaxed and friendly since 1972, Toyota Carlsbad is here for you today and tomorrow. Visit Toyota Carlsbad today.
ASI, the White Glove guys, this is Ken. It's for you. This is Phil. Yeah, we really wear white gloves. Oh, leaky faucet, we'll check it for free. Yes, my ponytail is real. Wah, wah, wah.
Summer vacation isn't canceled, just relocated. Let Holland RV's experienced sales staff help you find the best fit for your next adventure. New or pre-owned, gas or diesel RV, or towable. Holland has an extensive inventory of top-selling brands. Holland RV, San Marcos, and Santee.
Among the many COVID-19 concerns, unemployment ranks near the top of the list. Losing a job can have devastating short-term effects. But how about in the big picture? If you're laid off, will your credit score take a hit? We verify Monday at 5.
Thank you, San Diego. Join News 8 for Red Shoe Day, virtual style. Help support Ronald McDonald House. Donate at RedShoeDaySD.com or text Red Shoe to 243-725.
All right, we are going to send it back out to downtown San Diego near the Waterfront Park, the county admin building, where a vigil is being held right now.
Yeah, News 8's Kelly Hessedall is on the scene. The crowd's been growing, peaceful so far from what we can see, Kelly.
Yeah, that's right, you guys. I'm going to try to keep my voice down to be respectful right now that they're holding a moment of silence, 8 minutes of silence in honor of George Floyd. So if you take a look around me, you can see everyone here outside the county administration building right now, kneeling in honor of George Floyd, paying their respects. This crowd, a lot of them came from the downtown area and made their way over here. They just marched around the county building. They came back out here to the front. And as you can see right now, they're peacefully protesting outside the front doors of the county administration building. But a lot of faces in this crowd, a lot of young people, a lot of people who've been out all day long protesting against police brutality. If you will, Eric, if you can pan over to the front steps, the woman standing there with the black tank top on, we spoke to her earlier. She's the organizer of this rally. She said she organized everything on social media and was hoping for a good turnout. And certainly the crowd did not disappoint her. I mean, there's hundreds of people here, maybe even thousands of people here that just showed up and came out here to pay their respects. But of course, they are hoping things stay peaceful. Law enforcement is hoping things stay peaceful as well. But we're in the midst right now of that 8 minutes of silence in honor of George Floyd. Alicia and Carlo.
All right, it's good to see a few moments of peace out there at the county building. A lot of people you saw taking a knee, and that is representative of standing in solidarity with George Floyd, Black Lives Matter, and other Black lives that have been lost.
There have been several vigils around the country that are doing an extended moment of silence for the 8 minutes plus that George Floyd had a knee on his neck where he suffocated and died. And we saw an extended moment of silence there. I'm not sure if that's the same thing, but it's something that's kind of taking root in these moments and these vigils that are taking place across the country.
It's very meaningful, very emotional. And our protests here in San Diego look a lot different than they look in other parts of the country where it has become very violent. So far today, everything has remained, for the most part, peaceful. Yesterday, it was a stark contrast, though, in La Mesa when several businesses were looted. And we do want to remind you that several area cities have issued curfews for tonight. A curfew is in effect for Poway from 8 p.m. until 5:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. In Santee from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. and in La Mesa from 7 p.m. until 7 a.m.
The city of Coronado doesn't have an official curfew, but they're asking people to please stay home from 8 tonight until 5:30 tomorrow morning. Again, we just got the tweet just moments ago that I saw from El Cajon, 7 p.m. They're issuing a curfew, even though they haven't had any incidents there. They're trying to be proactive ahead of time. The San Diego County Sheriff's Office has also issued a curfew for unincorporated areas west of State Route 54 and for unincorporated areas west of State Route 67 from Lakeside to Poway. That's from 8 tonight until 5:30 tomorrow morning.
All right, and we want to send it now to Poway. News 8's Abby Alford is there with a smaller and, from what we saw before, peaceful protest in Poway. Abby?
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Alicia and Carla, we are here in Poway at the corner of Community Road and Poway Road. We have this group right here, and then there's another group over here. We have about 50 people here. We have those that are shouting, and then we do have this group over here where they keep coming up and talking. I wouldn't quite say it's a confrontation, but we do have another group that is talking to these protesters right here, asking to keep it peaceful as well. Calling out us, the media. I do have my press badge on. My photographer is also here with me watching my back as well. Again, we do want to say that this is a very peaceful protest. There has been no violence today. It started well before 5 o'clock, so they've been out here for a couple hours, and they keep just going from corner to corner, shouting Black Lives Matter, as well as those that are for equality and also for George Floyd. This is what many of these protests across the country we have seen is in the death of George Floyd. They're shouting Black Lives Matter, no race, no justice, no peace, no racist police. And again, we saw sheriffs out here earlier today, but they were just about a couple blocks away. We've not seen them. Again, we've not seen any violence at all. We know that there are nearby businesses that have, or we've been reports of nearby businesses that have boarded up their windows because they want to try to prevent any type of looting if that were to happen, because as we unfortunately saw in La Mesa last night. So we have nearby businesses who are trying to be proactive and to keep from getting their businesses damaged. But again, I want to assure you, this protest right here, there has been no signs of violence at all. It's been very peaceful. As you can see, there's just about a group of 50 of them. They're going from each corner to corner. People are driving by honking, and we will stay out here just to continue to follow these protests, because in about an hour and 15 minutes is when that curfew is going to start. Alicia?
All right, Abby, thank you. The majority of the protesters are in the downtown area at the waterfront park in front of the county building at this moment. But we do want to send it to News 8's Netta Iranpour, who is in the downtown area. Netta, what are you seeing where you're at?
You know, we're right on the corner of Harbor and Broadway. So we've been reporting from Broadway for several hours with that large group of people. And we saw that long line of officers, in fact, heading down Broadway. They actually turned here on Harbor. They had this area blocked off for a little bit, and you can see this crowd now coming down Broadway as well. And this crowd is heading towards the county building. So it looks like they're going to take Harbor Drive all the way down to the county building, the waterfront park area, to join the other group of protesters, that vigil that was going on there as well. And this is a lot of what we saw already at 2nd and Broadway. So this massive crowd now moving along the streets of downtown. We saw a lot of them taking C Street as well, heading towards Harbor Drive. And they had their signs still up. You know, we saw one that says white silence is violence. That's a lot of the message we've also seen throughout the day today. So various protests and messages out here, and from various different groups. Definitely a lot of emotion has been running high. You know, when we were reporting just about an hour ago, we saw that tear gas being fired by the police officers as things escalated a little bit with objects being thrown at officers. And I can tell you here, we saw that line of SUVs driving down Broadway. Broadway. They turned on Harbor Drive away from the county building, and that's where they're parking just at the port, it looks like, near Harbor Drive, just to kind of have a place to park their vehicles. But there were dozens and dozens of police SUVs coming down this direction, and they're basically going to line up here now, it looks like. So we saw those officers on Broadway. They blocked that area off, and it looks like many of them have cleared that area and now heading here to Harbor Drive. So we're walking along Harbor Drive right now, where you see those ships, obviously, and this is an area now that you can see a lot of these people headed towards the county building. And right in front of us, I can tell you, I see a few people with those milk jugs in hand. They're ready in case that tear gas does get thrown their way, just in case they need to soak their faces with some of that milk, as we've seen many people do today when those pepper balls go flying. A lot of them have to pour milk on their face that they believe helps subside a little bit of that tear gas, the burn. So we're seeing that right in front of us. We're seeing, this group of people. Hopefully this guy's okay, but yeah, we're here right along Harbor Drive again, near the waterfront, and just walking along with the crowd. And we've been, reporting throughout the past several hours throughout downtown, and most of the crowd was around Broadway. Police blocked Broadway off, and now that they started moving, police moved away from Broadway, and it looks like they're going to be kind of hovering near Broadway and Harbor Drive. You can see vehicles honking on Harbor Drive. The sign says Black Lives Matter. That's clearly the message we've been seeing. A lot of people, justice for George Floyd. So we've seen that throughout the day. And there were a lot of people encouraging peace. There were a few moments of tense moments, I should say, there where we saw people throwing that tear gas, we saw people throwing objects towards police officers, and then that's what led to the tear gas. So this is the scene here on Harbor Drive as this group continues to walk down, and we'll continue to follow where they're headed and bring it to you. But we'll send it back to you guys now.
Arnetta Rampur reporting live. And I'm struck by the contrast. Yesterday we had a peaceful protest for a lot of the day, but by this point in the day it had turned in La Mesa. At about 6 o'clock yesterday, things got bad, and things turned. We had some moments downtown where it looked like things could get bad, but cooler heads seem to have prevailed. And now we're going to a somber moment in front of the County Administration Center. And I did want to say, Kelly Hessedall tweeted that out. They were doing 8 minutes of silence for George Floyd.
Yeah, it's great to see. Yesterday, I think a lot of people saw the coverage in La Mesa and saw the destruction and the rioting, and they did not want that to happen today, and for the message, the important message, to be overshadowed. So we will continue with this breaking news coverage on the CW as well, but for now we're going to take a quick break.
Support American manufacturing with the Ortho Mattress Memorial Day sale. Our American factory direct pricing gives you great quality for less money.
For a limited time only, our club signature firm sets are $199. Our best-selling Doctor Preferred Ortho mattress sets are now 50% off.
It's the Ortho Mattress Memorial Day sale, our biggest sale ever. American craftsmanship means great quality and great prices. Only at Ortho Mattress.
Ortho Mattress.
It's the Memorial Day Sell-a-thon at Kearny Mesa Ford. Lease a new 2020 Ford Explorer XLT for $279 a month, or buy for only $34,988 net cost. Or get a new 2019 Ford F-150 XLT for $14,000 net savings. Sunroads Kearny Mesa Ford.
If you've got clogged or slow-moving drains, don't miss Anderson's 53-year free drain clearing. Our expert technicians will restore flow to your drain for $53, or it's free.
We're Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air, and nobody wows clients like we do.
At Murray Lampert, your safety and well-being is our top priority. Murray Lampert Design, Build, Remodel truly cares about the San Diego families we work for. We've been one of San Diego's most trusted design, build, remodelers since 1975.
Stop asking your mother, brother-in-law, best friend, neighbor, search engine, book club, coworker. Ask your doctor. With enhanced safety protocols in place, UC San Diego Health is welcoming patients back so they can get the expert opinions and care they've been putting off. Because staying on top of your health is the safest thing you can do. UC San Diego Health. World-class care, always here for you.
If you're having a small celebration, know that mylar balloons can be dangerous near power lines. Be sure they're always secured. And once the party's over, puncture, deflate, and discard them. Be safe.
We've been a part of Southern California for 65 years.
And we're pleased to announce that all Jerome showrooms are now open.
We've made safety in our stores priority one.
But if you prefer to shop from home, you can still speak to a Jerome's expert and view products over FaceTime.
In addition to Jerry's price,
You can finance your furniture for 5 years with no down payment and no minimum purchase.
plus Jerome's offers fast and free drop-off delivery.
That's 5 years, no down payment, and no minimum purchase.
Jerome showrooms are now open.
All right, we're going to send it back out to the Vigil in front of the county building along the waterfront, where we saw thousands of protesters take a knee and have 8 minutes of silence, representative of the 8 minutes it took for that police officer to unfortunately take the life of George Floyd in Minneapolis.
Kelly Hessedall is live at that vigil, which is a different tone than anything we've seen the last couple of days. Kelly?
Yeah, and we just moved to give you guys a different vantage point. If you take a look over here, you can get up here, Eric, to show them just how large this crowd is. So we're on the front steps of the county building, and you can see this huge crowd out in front of the front steps. A lot of folks out here with signs, Black Lives Matter, rest in peace, George Floyd. They've had speakers on the microphone just kind of talking to the crowd about George Floyd, his death, and what it means to them. But yeah, a lot of people out here are frustrated. A lot of people out here are angry, but they want to have a calm protest tonight. They want a peaceful protest. They do not want things to get out of hand. You look around and you just see so many different faces, people of all ages, people of all races that are out here, and the crowd is still continuing to grow. Eric, if you turn to the left a little bit, if you look over here, you can see that there are a lot of folks still heading our direction. So we are expecting a much bigger crowd than what we've got out here right now. The police are out here as well, trying to make sure things stay under control, that things stay peaceful. But here's a live look for you outside the county building tonight as a vigil is underway. But we will send it back to you guys, Alicia and Carlo.
The good news tonight, Kelly, is what we've seen is peace along the waterfront in front of the county building, and thousands of people are showing up at this hour for that peaceful vigil.
Let's hope when it ends, it stays that way.
Yeah.
And just a brief thing, we're just saying we're in the middle of a pandemic,
Right.
and seeing all those people gathered is a little uncomfortable, even with the masks on with many of them. Just strange times. We're going to keep covering this. If anything big develops, we're going to jump back on air. But for now, we'll expect to see you a bit later on News 8 at 11.
60 Minutes is next.
If you leave your place, make sure to cover your face.
With zero